On this episode of the Denver Bronco Roundup podcast, there's off-season moves that Denver Bronco fans want to see made, from tight end to running back to wide receiver to maybe even linebacker. But how do we do it? Is it in the draft? Is it via trade? Is it via free agency? We're going to tackle it all. Maybe you got another idea as well. Check it out. We're going to get this started, I don't know, right about now. Welcome in, everybody, to the Denver Bronco Roundup podcast, part of the Rocky Mountain Sports Network, and brought to you by Morgan Trinkets. And actually, that's where I want to start this evening, gentlemen. I'm going to hold you at bay for just a moment because Morgan Trinkets, an amazing sponsor of ours, Miss Pearl Heater, has a birthday today. So right off the top, I just wanted to wish a very happy birthday to Miss Pearl Heater. Yes, absolutely. Morgan Trinkets, our amazing sponsor. And a birthday for Pearl Heater nonetheless. I'm sure she'll be joining us. She typically does. But my name is Keith Brugman. This is the Denver Bronco Roundup podcast. We got an amazing agenda all set up this evening. But first, I want to say hello to some of my co-hosts here for this evening, man. When I start off with, the most exciting man in all of Broncos podcasting, that'd be Mr. Jody, the Judge Moncrief, right? Jody, welcome in, Judge. How you doing, my friend?
What's up, everyone? Doing good. Already missing football. I guess it's time to get into the baseball season. Probably the last season we'll see for a while, so better enjoy it while you can. And time to get ready for, I think the combine starts next week, and time to get focused on that.
Yep. I mean, it's funny you were saying time to think about baseball. I was like, oh my gosh, no, NFL offseason is upon me, and I feel so far behind. NFL rules my world now. I used to be like a multi-sport, multifaceted guy. Now it doesn't seem like I even have the time for my basketball, baseball, or even hockey. The Broncos take over my life. Kenny, I think you would almost agree with me, my friend. Between the Giants and the Broncos, my goodness, we're covering football a lot. Welcome to the show. Kenny, how you doing, my friend?
Doing great, Keith. Thanks for having me on tonight. Like you just said, football is my passion right now. We got the Broncos, who just missed the Super Bowl, the Giants, who were really far from the Super Bowl, but going in the right direction now with the new head coach. We had a great show yesterday, free agency, the off season's here, the juice. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. Tuesday nights, Trevor and I had a lot of fun with a lot of the people in our posse. We call them juicers on Tuesday. They're posse and juicers. So we had a lot of fun. Like you just said, combine next week. We're going to be talking about it all over on both shows, and can't wait to get into the off season, which is officially here, and we got a great one tonight for everybody.
Yeah, another great one. I got to hit the comments. The posse, as we call them here on the Denver Bronco Roundup, the juicers were absolutely on point last night, though, man. Fantastic episode. You guys were out there giving it your all, and getting it back as well. Our good friend Clayton coming in over on Facebook saying, hey guys, smash and that like button and share as well. We appreciate that, man. I don't say it enough, but yeah, little thumbs up action on the way in, on the way out, sharing us out to fellow Broncos and with the juice, man, fellow NFL fans, fellow football fans. We appreciate that a ton, Clayton. And Clayton, love to get you involved in the conversation this evening. We did get Pearl. I said the Pearl was going to be in here, coming in here and saying hello all, and she's right in the middle of Olympics and hockey season. Happy birthday again.
Happy birthday, Miss Pearl.
Miss Pearl, yes, absolutely. Happy birthday to you, and hope you had a fantastic day, and happy birthday, says Clayton as well. For Roy, who's coming in and saying good evening, Horseman and the Posse, that's all of you riding in the comments. He says it's NASCAR season for him now. Did catch a little bit of Daytona 500, and that was pretty good for, well, 2 stages of the race. Roy, you know what I'm talking about. That 3rd stage, not really too sure about that one. But NASCAR's trying to figure it out. I digress. We're going to be racing it up, revving it up, and getting going into this NFL Denver Broncos offseason, including going in here with Michael Ronquillo coming in saying, good evening, Keith and Kenny and Jody, and go Bo Broncos. He's got the blue and orange hearts and a big old mile-high salute.
And Keith, that is with 1,000 stars, 3 zeros. Thank you, Michael Ronquillo, everybody. My friend Michael Ronquillo coming in
the
strong.
Ronk. Yeah, man. Holy cow, Ronk, man. Just getting it done and taking care of business. Ronk, the man. Really helping us out during the offseason, man. I can't wait to rock some of these questions with you, man, because let's face it, Michael's on top of things. And he knows what's going on. In fact, I was going through some of the potential draft picks. I started thinking about Michael Ronquillo because he's always on point when that comes in as well. Ernie Mays coming in saying, go Broncos country only. Hello, Kenny, Kay, and Jody, and Keith, and happy birthday to Miss Pearl. Absolutely. Go Broncos country only, he says as well. Gentlemen, I want to get this agenda kicked off, man, because I think this could be a pretty good conversation, a fairly long conversation. A lot of names we could end up talking about when it comes to this. I usually give this up to the guests, but I am going to go ahead and I'm going to give this one up to Mr. Jody Moncrief because, Kenny, you don't get to qualify as a guest anymore. Once upon a time, I think that it was like, oh, our special guest, our friend. Kenny, you're just a full-fledged member, so you get the treatment of having to just go second. Jody, what position should we tackle first, man? What position do you think the Denver Broncos need to maybe tackle first themselves? Maybe it's just one that you have pointed out in your mind. Who are we going after? What position are we taking care of in the offseason?
Running back,
man. Well, you get to choose it first, but I'm going to go to Mr. Kenny Kirkpatrick first, man. Kenny Kirkpatrick, there's lots of different ways we could go out and quote-unquote tackle the running back position for the Denver Broncos, but we got 3 on the table today, man. I want to get your opinion, and if you have any names in your hat, I want to get that out there as well. Posse, you need to play along as well. We're going to go ahead and tackle running back. Kenny, we doing it by trade? Are we doing it by free agency? Are we doing it through the NFL draft? How should the Broncos tackle taking care of this position? Add a little more depth, or maybe that number 1 guy?
Free agent / trade. But I think the guy that I have listed here that's a trade candidate now, I'm going to go free. He's going to become a free agent and be released. Rumorville out there that this guy from the Green Bay Packers, a longtime nemesis of the Las Vegas Raiders, may become available. The Packers may be in trouble money-wise and have to release Josh Jacobs. If Josh Jacobs becomes available, he is my number 1 target over Breece Hall, Travis Etienne, et cetera, and even Jeremiah Love, moving up for Jeremiah Love a lot of spots. I don't want to do it. Josh Jacobs, Packers release him. They're going to have to eat some of his salary, not going to cost as much. B, perfect complementary piece to the speedster in RJ Harvey. You have the power and the speed. Give me Josh Jacobs as a wild card to start the show off. You had a little wild card in there when you sent that to us. So I'm going to throw a little wild card right at the start to get the ball rolling and shake things up a little bit and give you a different name. I'm going to give you Josh Jacobs as a possibility. And we know what he did against the Broncos, 2-3 touchdowns a game against the Broncos. Now you can have that on the Broncos. I'll take that. Let's go, Bronco country.
Hard runner, great contact balance. As a guy that can be a 3-down back for you, really, as it can be a blocker for you as well. Well, first off, Ernie Mays is coming in. He believes right what you're talking, man. Trading for a running back, potentially release Josh Jacobs, but you could always end up securing a guy like that for a late round draft pick rather than having him released. We've seen that done in the past. Michael Ronquillo is going a different direction, also trading. He's going running back Breece Hall. I'm sorry, that's free agency. Going free agency. The only one I want here with the Broncos, he says. And he's also just doubling down that Josh Jacobs had his chance to help the Broncos win the Super Bowl in 2026, and he signed with the Broncos and not if he would have signed with the Broncos and not the Packers. So he's going to big pass on the Packers, Josh Jacobs. Back to you, Jody, man. How do you feel about tackling the running back position? How would you do it? Do you like the idea of a Breece Hall out there as a potential, or a Josh Jacobs? You go in a different direction?
I'll say Josh Jacobs. He makes a lot of sense. I mean, like Michael Ronquillo said, Denver tried to get him 2 years ago when he signed with the Packers. So that makes a lot of sense. If I was gonna guess, I have a feeling Breece Hall is gonna get franchise tagged. I think Kenneth Walker is gonna get franchise tagged. So, I mean, now you're at like 14 and change just as a starting point to go get him.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to rule those two guys probably out. I've said my guy is ETN. That's the guy I like from Jacksonville. If Denver decides to go in the draft, I've said it before. I think Jeremiah Love is the guy, but you're going to have to give up a lot. I mean, if you go to the draft tracker, I mean, it's like 2 1s and a 2 to get him. So it's a lot of capital, but my opinion, I know it's probably a homer. My opinion, I mean, he's better than Genty. But so it would cost you a lot there. And then, like we talked behind the stage, your number 2 running back is Price from Notre Dame as well. The one bad thing with him is he's not the greatest in pass blocks. So, I mean, that's one of the reasons another Notre Dame running back is not on this roster. So, and I like Nick Singleton from Penn State, but the broken ankle worries me that he had right before Senior Bowl. So if I was going to go right now, I'd probably go free agency. You've got money, and ETN is where I would lean.
I like that you went ETN. I know that there's been a lot of big call for Tyler Algier as a potentially coming in here. Me personally, I know that they're like, hey, not a whole lot of tread, a lot of tread left on the tires, not a whole lot of wear on that. Him being kind of a primarily a second down back or in a 2-back system. It just worries me that he hasn't had to necessarily pick up and carry that load. I think I'd have to agree with you when it comes to Kenneth Walker and potentially Breece Hall. But I'm going to go back to Kenny a little bit because I was shocked when Kenny didn't start coming in here busting everybody up about this name rather than Josh Jacobs. No Rico Dowdle? No Rico Dowdle there, Kenny? I'll be honest, I honestly think that might be one of my more favorite names when it comes to free agency if I was going to go in free agency. Yes, I think I'd like a Kenneth Walker. I like Travis Etienne. I'm right there with you as well, Jody. But Rico Dowdle is right up there, man. Kenny, Rico Dowdle?
Rico Dowdle could be a possibility. Nobody's really talked about him. He played with the Panthers, so it's a smaller market. But he took over that running back role, with Chuba Hubbard, got that team to the playoffs. So I could see Rico Dowdle as a possibility. I think the guy, Michael Ronquillo, has got something with Breece Hall. Breece Hall played on the Jets, and the Jets were losing. I'm in the New York area. I'm following that team a little more than everybody else. That team's run game was bad this year. Breece Hall was banged up a little bit this year. That team was an absolute mess. And Breece Hall, I think on a better team, I think will be an elite number one pick. I do want to give some other names out that at Combine next week, some names to watch out for. I know Jody, I don't want to sugarcoat it. I don't think Jeremiah Love, and I don't want to upset Bronco fans, I don't think Jeremiah Love's going to be in play. It's way too high of a move up in the draft to go get him. And he's going to be a top 10 pick like Ashton Janty. And where you're picking, it's just going to be too expensive for that position. The other Notre Dame running back, yes, I like him, Price. But there's also, Jody mentioned Nicholas Singleton from Penn State. But how about the other Penn State running back, Katron Allen, Keith and Posse and Jody? 4,180 yards in his career and 39 touchdowns. So when you're talking about another running back duo, the poor man's Notre Dame running back duo in this draft is the Penn State guys, and I like both of them. Penn State was a mess this year. They fired their head coach. They were a disappointing team, and these two running backs still put up numbers. And then the last name that I want you guys to watch out for in the Combine next week is Mike Washington, another bigger style back. Could be anywhere from a late third to a mid to late fourth where the Broncos are picking. And I think he's got some upside, and I'm curious to see how he does in the Combine with his size and agility. Could be in play for the Broncos as well.
Nate Washington, he's out of
Mike Washington out of Arkansas.
Mike Washington, Arkansas.
Yes.
I'm taking down notes, man.
Yeah, and the two Penn State guys, watch out for them. Jody said Singleton, but watch for Katron Allen. That is a name to watch out for.
I got it written down, my friend, as most of our posse should have it written down as well. Names to watch. I'll be honest, we've been pretty good at some of our coverage here, and I'm pretty proud of what the names we've kind of pulled out of the hat over the last couple of years. So I got a couple of names I want to pull out of the hat for you guys via trade. I'll go Jody, then Kenny, then Jody on these three names. Jody, first one I got for you, David Montgomery. Would you trade for a David Montgomery, bring him in as a potential running back to add to the stable for the Denver Broncos?
No, but two reasons. One, I think he's going to get released, and number two, I'm not trading for a running back. There's enough big name free agents out there that you don't have to give up assets for, and you're going to have money this year.
All right. Well, then I don't know if you'll be too happy about coming back around to my third one from you. But I want to go up to Kenny Kirkpatrick. You talked about it before. Rico Dowdle took over for him. But what about Chuba Hubbard? Chuba Hubbard could be out there as a potential trade or free agent candidate if he gets released as well. Would you be interested in Chuba Hubbard for the Denver Broncos?
I'm going to pass on Chuba Hubbard because I think there's equal or better value at what Chuba Hubbard's making. I think Tyler Algier would make 100% more sense and not costing you anything over a Chuba Hubbard. If I had to look at who's on the list here as a comparison, I would put Tyler Algier there. So I would take Tyler Algier over Chuba Hubbard. So I'm going to pass on that one.
Last but not least, Jody, our good friend over there at Broncos Daily, Mr. Kurt Valente. He used to be pounding the table for this guy, and maybe this is finally the year. Alvin Kamara may have to be a cap casualty in New Orleans finally. You could maybe go out there and secure him for a late-round pick or pick him up in free agency if he ends up hitting the market. One way or another, we could see Alvin Kamara no longer a Saint. Now, he said, I always want to be a Saint. If not, I'm going to retire. But if there's one guy that might be able to change his mind about that, it would have to be Sean Payton, right? Would you go after Alvin Kamara in any capacity?
No, I'll pass again.
Oh, man, we're breaking Kurt's heart. We're just breaking Kurt's heart.
Could I just not with Alvin Kamara? I agree with Jody, but can I change Jody's mind about David Montgomery?
Mm. See
Keith
if you can.
Keith alluded to, with the, Josh Jacobs, maybe getting him for a late pick to secure it. You trade for David Montgomery, you're not going to give up a first, second, or third round pick. At the earliest I would give up for David Montgomery is your late fourth or fifth round pick. This past year's pick was Savion Jones, non-existent in the fourth round, and fifth round was Q Robinson. If you can get David Montgomery for that type of player coming in the draft, and David Montgomery, here's the selling point. Running back by committee with arguably the best running back in football in Jamar Gibbs. It's still a running back by committee over there. You bring him into Denver with a running back by committee with RJ Harvey, I think it could be successful. I don't know if I sold Jody, but that's my selling point.
That's my 30-second elevator pitch. Go ahead, Jody.
I like him. I think he's going to be a cap casualty, and so I don't think you would have to trade to get him.
Fair enough. The reason I think we need to maybe talk about these names is a reason that, Jody, you've brought up time and time again. I don't know if we had Saquon Barkley, if Sean Payton would actually run the ball. I don't know how much I want to invest in the running back position, quite honestly, unless we have someone so legit that it demands that we run the ball. Because I'm scared that even if we bring in, a somewhat good name, let's say even like a Breece Hall, that he will still end up getting buried here in the game plan in what is called out on the field. So, I mean, if you get a Jeremiah Love, that changes the equation. But beyond that, I think that at some point you need to just think about how you're going to bolster up this running back room and potentially make it better than what we saw last year. I do want to move on. We got more positions.
Can I ask? I got a question real quick.
Yes.
If do both of you think Denver is one running back away from that's what they need? I know you need a linebacker, but just say you bring your own guys back. Is Denver one running back away from that? That's the missing piece. If you had a horse back there.
I would say that given the four positions we have on the docket, I would not put this as the number one position that we need to go after.
Meaning you're good. Meaning you're good with RJ Harvey as your number one next year.
I think you could still upgrade and not have to break the bank, and that's the nice thing about the running back position. But I'm also not going to try to kill myself to try to get the number one prospect in order to try to think that that's what it's needed in order to get me over the hump. No, I don't think it's the number one position of need that will help get me there. No.
If I was just going to play a short devil's advocate, Keith, and then Michael has a stars comment with 100 stars in it. So I think we should hit that before our next position. My quick devil's advocate on it would be Davis Webb's taken over the play calling. If Davis Webb may try and run the ball a little more, maybe you address it and get that one feature back. I know I just said David Montgomery would be good in a two-man committee, but maybe you go get that one feature back. You go get that Breece Hall or that Travis Etienne or Josh Jacobs if he's available. If Davis Webb is really truly handed the book, if he's handed the book and Peyton don't have much, Peyton's just there to help. That's fine, but if Peyton's still making the calls, hey, I want to pass the ball 70% of the time and 30% of the run, then I'm with you, Keith. But it's got to be, Davis Webb's shot here. Make him, run the offense. I want to truly run the offense.
Can I add something? When we say we don't run the football, is that because it looked bad after Dobbins got hurt, or does everyone feel that way? I mean, Dobbins was averaging close to 20 carries a game. I mean, he was number 2 in rushing when he got hurt. Is this we're not running the ball, or is this Sean Payton overdrafted RJ Harvey and it didn't work out and he had nothing behind J.K. Dobbins, and that forced a lot of throwing the football more than normal.
I think you're trying to answer your own question in the way you're phrasing that, obviously. But I would say rewind the tape on yourself, because I think there was times that we were saying, "Hey, even with RJ, or not RJ, but J.K. Dobbins, we need to get that going earlier." And that he got a lot of his yards at the end of games, and that when we finally got him going in the third quarter and the fourth quarter, you kind of saw what J.K. Dobbins could do. I think there's still opportunity for the run game to improve under Sean Payton, at least the way it was ran last year, even with our best horse in the mix in J.K. Dobbins, which obviously proved to be the case last year over R.J. Harvey, even though I liked him a lot.
And then my last one is that we didn't bring him up. Is he an option?
J.K. Dobbins.
I mean, I keep hearing that's could be a realistic option to bring him back.
I mean, I'm not in love with the idea, just because I at some point you need to get better. You need to get younger, and it seems like you're just going back to the well one more time. Kenny, your thoughts on that, though?
Real quick, zero chance I want Dobbins back. He is one of the reasons why, in my opinion, the Broncos weren't in your AFC. It wasn't the AFC representative in the Super Bowl. He cannot play a full 17-game season. Don't want to repeat where he goes down in week 13, 14, or 15 next year. Zero chance I want to bring him back. And nothing against J.K. Dobbins. I think, I like him as a player, but not a good fit for the Broncos, in my opinion, with the injuries. What's
Lots of
behind
different
him.
options out there. Lots of different options out there. I
Yep.
appreciate it, Kenny. I'm going to hit that Michael Ronquillo comment, I believe, that you're talking about.
Yes.
And the one that we need to get to as well. I meant to bring this up a lot earlier. The Broncos are going to hire Ronald Curry as the new wide receivers coach. And he's also got a little fun fact in here that Ronald Curry was, in fact, had a one-handed catch versus the Denver Broncos when he was a wide receiver in the NFL. Of course, I remember Ronald Curry being that Raiders wide receiver. Big guy, and obviously some good hands. Jody, we could maybe use some good hands from the wide receiver room. Talk a little bit about Ronald Curry, maybe getting this shot again with Sean Payton.
It makes a lot of sense. Like you said, they've coached in the past in New Orleans. I think I read today or a little bit ago that I think he's coached the number 1 wide receiver in yards twice in his tenure down in New Orleans. He's been a quarterback coach the last couple of years in Buffalo, so I like the move. I mean, when Sean Payton's standing up at the podium and saying it's more than just put your thumbs together and catch the football, I mean, there's a real problem there. Denver, almost doubled the third-place team in drops. I mean, them in Jacksonville were far and above leading the NFL in drops. It's been a problem. I've said it's been a problem probably a lot more than a lot of other people, but to me, it's a massive problem, and hopefully he can figure some things out.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I'll give it up to you, man. Jody, you were one of those vocal guys throughout the year. You kept getting on here, talking about the drops, left, right, and otherwise. I think, quite honestly, I was one of the guys that kept sweeping that underneath the rug, and sometimes even sweeping the conversation under the rug at times. But that being said, it did end up playing itself out. Sorry, Kenny dropped himself out, threw me off for just a second. But, it did play itself out, and it played itself out in the fact that the wide receivers coach was let go, and it was a obvious call out by Sean Payton at the end of the year, and now it's being addressed. It'll be interesting to see Ronald Curry getting his opportunity here. Was brought in by Sean Payton into the league, into the NFL, ran there in New Orleans for quite a while. moved his way up the ladder and moved his way into the position of being a quarterbacks coach even in Buffalo as well. Now he's back with Sean Payton. It'll be good to see. Those relationships just seem to be really good for Sean Payton. I'll just put it that way, man. He leans on those guys from New Orleans, and once again, we'll see if that works out for the wide receivers coach.
I will say, for all his faults, he is loyal, probably loyal to a fault to some people. I mean,
and they're loyal to him.
I mean, the one that I'm still almost surprised that they just flat let Joe Lombardi go. They didn't demote him or something. I mean, this will be the first time that he's never coached with neither him or Pete Carmichael. So this move, I mean, it makes all the sense in the world.
There you go. We'll see if Ronald Curry can help out the Denver Broncos wide receivers, which should include some more additions on this roster. And so I guess I'll turn to you first, Jody. Let you take a stab at the wide receiver room. I think a lot of people are looking for the Denver Broncos to upgrade the wide receiver room. If you're going out there first and foremost, how are you going to be attacking this? Where do you see it? Is it going to be in free agency? Is it going to be in trade? Is it going to be through the NFL draft?
I wanted free agency because George Pickens was the guy, but if the reports are true and he gets tagged, I'll pass on that. I'm not paying whatever it is, almost $30 million. So I'm going to go draft. There's some guys you can move up a little bit. There's some guys at the bottom of the first round. That's probably where I'm going to go in the draft.
Before I get into more of this discussion, I just realized the time, and I realized before we even got started in the wide receiver discussion, I should have talked about our amazing sponsor. Pearl's having a birthday. No better way to support Pearl than to maybe head on over to Morgan Trinkets. Morgan Trinkets has been your headquarters for Southwest Jewelry, Southwest Pottery, Estate Gold at wholesale prices for over 35 years. Once a nationwide company, now they do a lot of partying right in your backyard. Northern Colorado, Southern Wyoming, they're doing shows all the time, as well as they have a great presence over on Etsy. You can type in Morgan Trinkets Co. and check out everything that they have to offer, as well as head over to eBay, where you can type in Pearl Heat and see what Morgan Trinkets has as far as Southwest Jewelry, Southwest Pottery, and Estate Gold at wholesale prices. But if you want to check them out in person, got a couple of dates that you might want to write down. March 7th and March 8th, the Survival Show at the Longmont Fairgrounds. You can check them out there. That's March 7th and 8th, Longmont Fairgrounds Survival Show. And then right next weekend, March 14th and 15th at the Coin Show, Longmont Fairgrounds. They'll be there as well. Morgan Trinkets, your headquarters for Southwest Jewelry, Southwest Pottery, Estate Gold at wholesale prices. Ernie Mays is coming in saying we need to get a receiver in the draft as well, chiming in, being a part of what Jody was saying as well there. He thinks that's the way to go. And Michael Ronquillo just has one simple request: keep wide receiver Tyreek Hill away from the Broncos, period. He doesn't even want him on the field playing against him, let alone in the locker room for them. No Tyreek Hill for him. So as far as free agency is concerned, no Tyreek to the Denver Broncos. But Kenny, how would you tackle this wide receiver room? We got a couple of votes coming in for the NFL draft so far.
I'm going to be a little different here. I'm going to say a guy that just possibly could be on the trade block, and a guy that I like and has just been in, I think, maybe the wrong style of offense, and that's the guy over in Indianapolis, and Michael Pittman Jr., 28 years old, over 100 targets besides his rookie year in 2020. 130 targets, 141 targets, 156 targets, 111. Played almost a full season every year except for 2023, where he played 15 games. So he's going to stay on the field. He's going to be a big target for Bo Nix, 6'4", and if the price is right, come on down. Let's bring him over to Denver. on the other side of Cortland Sutton, you got two big wide receivers now, and then you can work Marvin Mims as your third, and then Troy Franklin and Pat Bryant can be your complementary pieces there in this offense. But Michael Pittman Jr., I think with Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones, not a good, not the most accurate deep thrower, I think fell as the odd man out in that Colts offense with him. So I think the upside is there. He's only 28 years old.
I did like myself some Michael Pittman Jr. Pearl's not a fan, though, of Tyreek Hill. I would have to agree. I don't know if anybody has disagree. I just think when it comes to the age, the injury, the character issues, I don't think we need another Tyreek Hill or a Tyreek Hill on there. I read that wide receiver Michael Pittman is like a wide receiver Cortland Sutton type of player. It says Michael Ronquillo. You're talking about that, man. Those big body, tall guy, I think that is a pretty good comparison. Kenny, what do you say? Michael Pittman, Cortland Sutton, do you see that?
I do. And if you can have, we know Cortland Sutton's been to the Broncos. If you could bring another Cortland Sutton over, how much more dangerous would that offense be? Cortland Sutton's been the go-to guy in Sean Payton's offense since he's been here. And if now you can bring Michael Pittman over, that's just going to make, in my opinion, Cortland Sutton that much better. And vice versa.
I want to throw a few more names out there. Jody, I'm going to get your thoughts first and foremost. I know that you said no to George Pickens. There's been a lot of talk.
I always say no to George Pickens if he gets tagged because I'm not paying the 28.
And I get that, man. I get that. Yeah, I didn't mean
if
to.
He just is a straight free agent, that's the number one wide receiver I want.
Okay, very good. If he's just out there ready to be picked up, we can work a deal out with him. We can dictate the dollars in his contract, especially maybe if we can get a little bit cheaper in the first few years, push some money down the roads. I understand wanting a George Pickens. What do you say about A.J. Brown, though? Because that's another guy that's been in the news. And to me, if I'm looking out there as far as a top 10, top 5 wide receiver in the league, we're talking about two of the top names out here. I think you need to have A.J. Brown in the conversation. Jody, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, if I'm trading, that's the wide receiver I'm going for. I know people are going to the diva type stuff. Well, all wide receivers are divas. But I think coming to this locker room with Sean Payton here, he's a no-nonsense guy. Turn that around. Plus, he'll be in an offense that throws the football. I mean, Denver's led the league in pass attempts the last 2 years, so plenty of balls to go around. So if I'm trading for one wide receiver, it's A.J. Brown.
I got a name for you, Kenny, though, and it's on the free agency side. And I don't know if this is just flying underneath the radar, but this is a name that everybody was talking about a year, maybe 2 years ago as well. I don't know what Pittsburgh's going to be doing. I don't know if Pittsburgh knows what they're going to be doing as far as quarterback is concerned. That's for dang sure. And if I'm DK Metcalf and I'm a free agent, am I signing up for Pittsburgh again for another year? Or should I go out there and I should look for another team? And why wouldn't DK Metcalf from Bo Nix make sense?
Is he a free agent? I'm not sure, Keith. I did not have him there, but I'll say if he is a free agent, he's on top of my list 100%.
That's what I had written down. Maybe I'm
okay.
Wrong.
I
check as well. So
I could be wrong because I don't have him on my list here. But free agency, DK Metcalf, yeah, he's on top of the list. I thought the Broncos should have went after him big time when he was available in a trade. I do like my.
No, he's in the first year of a
4-year,
$132 million contract. I'm so sorry.
Signed.
He just signed. I'm sorry.
I could go back to A.J. Brown though, real quick.
Go right ahead, my friend.
In its place, the rumor out there, if A.J. Brown for Riley Moss and a middle round draft pick, I do it 100%.
Oh hell!
Jahdae Barron is why you and I'll talk about the coaches first. Like he's a diva. He's a diva with Nick Sirianni. I call Brian Dable and Nick Sirianni the clowns. You have a party with those coaches. That's you do what you want. And it's true. There's coaches out there that have a lighter schedule for the teams. Look what the Broncos were doing with Nathaniel Hackett. It's a carnival. But no nonsense. Jody nailed it. Sean Payton type, the Harbaughs, Tomlin, Andy Reid. He's going to come in here and he's going to be a serious teammate. He ain't going to cause trouble. Riley Moss is on the last year of his contract. He's going to demand a price increase. Corner number 2, one of the better ones in the league. Sade Barron is who you drafted last year. You want to start getting him some playing time on the outside. Here comes Jaquan McMillan as your slot. And then if you want to pick up somebody in free agency or to draft to be that 4th guy veteran, maybe push Sade Barron a little bit. Maybe that's the route the Broncos go. I'm about the A.J. Brown trade. Yes.
I agree, man. A.J. Brown, even if it ends up being Riley Moss, after I started looking at some of the cornerbacks that'll be available via free agency or via trade that are going to be out there, you can go out there and replace a Riley Moss, I believe, out there on the market with a comparable player. A couple of the names I just want to throw around, though. Kenny, your thoughts really quick on Jalen Waddle. I think me and Jody have talked about it on our last episode, but your thoughts on Jalen Waddle?
Thoughts on Jalen Waddle? I don't know if I want to. The asking price might be a little too high for me for the Broncos, and that meaning I don't want to give up a late 1st round pick or even my 2nd round pick for him at this point when I got guys that are in free agency that I think are equal or better than him, and even guys that are open to a trade. A.J. Brown, I think, is better than Jalen Waddle. Michael Pittman, I think, is on the same level as Jalen Waddle. I would pass on Jalen Waddle, and I don't know if the Dolphins are going to want to get rid of everybody on their roster, and I think they're going to want to build around somebody and keep somebody, and Jalen Waddle might be staying in Miami after all, in my opinion.
I'll add something on him real quick.
The
reports were Sean Payton didn't want the trade deadline this year, so why do it now in the offseason? I mean, obviously wide receiver was a need at the trade deadline. Why are you doing it? Why would you do it for him now?
Why, in my opinion, last year at the trade deadline, the Miami Dolphins didn't have a GM. My guess is they probably weren't giving away players for cheap prices, especially not knowing or didn't want to really handicap the next GM that was going to be coming into that position. So now I think there's maybe a potential of actually trading for a decent value where I think the asking price was just too high, and that was what was reported as well. But I think that might be the reasoning why, is because without their GM, you have a guy working interim, probably doesn't have the ability to really pull the strings. So best way to do it is like, hey, if you can get crazy money for him, go ahead and get it done, right? Yeah. That would be my only thoughts. But I want to get your thoughts on this. Another kind of fire sale type of team. Would you pursue Chris Olave in any way, Jody?
Yeah, because of his ties with Sean Payton.
Yeah. I like what Chris Olave has brought. The only thing that I have a little bit of concern about is his injury history as he's been in and out. I'm going to go a different direction for you, Mr. Kenny Kirkpatrick. T. Higgins. A lot of shuffling's been going around, and I know T. Higgins just signed a contract, but they're trying to figure out a lot of things, including Trey Hendrickson, and maybe even trying to keep a hold of their quarterback. Who knows what's going on there? T. Higgins, would you make a run after T. Higgins? I know that was a big name just a couple of years ago.
I'm going to hard pass on T. Higgins. I think when, for me, in my opinion, there might be a little overrated in T. Higgins. And having him come to a new team, I know Joe Burrow's been hurt on and off injuries, but I'm not the biggest T. Higgins fan, and I don't know if I can count on him for 17 games. Michael has a name, Keith, if you want to allude to that one in the comments. And I can answer that one real quick for him. I think he would be great. 1,000-yard receiver, breakout season, Michael and Posse. Michael's alluding to Wan'Dale Robinson for the New York Giants. 1,000 yards, 94 receptions, became the number 1 wide receiver after Malik Neighbors went down. And the only issue is he's off his rookie contract, and the asking projected price is going to be around 16 to 17 million for him for a year. And I don't know if the Broncos, I'll ask Keith and Jody, do you think the Broncos would want to pay that much for a guy coming off a breakout year?
I think if you're
A no
investing
for
that
me.
much, I would want to just invest more and make sure I got that guy. The guy. Get the guy that's getting paid 25 million versus the guy that's getting paid 17 million. So that's my concern.
On that question, I have a question. Are you, if you're Denver, are you trying to get a true number 1, or are you sold that Cortland is your number 1 and you're trying to get a number 2?
This is, you asked earlier, is the running back the position? I think wide receiver is the position. And the only reason I say that is because of the way that this offense runs. We haven't seen the running back be a key piece. We've tried to bring in a joker at tight end, and we'll probably get to that as our last segment this evening is tight end. But the one thing I do know is they throw towards the wide receivers. I think if you go out there and you put an A.J. Brown out there, I think this offense absolutely goes. I think if you go out there and you get a George Pickens, this offense absolutely goes. You go out there and you get a guy that you can pair up with Cortland Sutton now, I think that's when you really have your best of what Sean Payton is really going to want to do with this offense. It's the reason I put it at the top of the list. Kenny, your thoughts?
No, I'm with you, Keith, and I know we want to move on to tight ends, so I will just add 2 guys to watch at the combine, because this first guy, Chris Bell, coming off an ACL injury, Louisville wide receiver, former Ole Miss, comparisons to A.J. Brown. So I am closely watching Chris Bell for not only the Broncos, for the Giants as well. You're looking at like a second, maybe a late second to a third round pick, depending on how he does at the combine. And Notre Dame, Jody, you know this name, Malachi Fields. Keep an eye out for that wide receiver in the combine.
I got 3 names just on the trade block that everyone should maybe just keep their eye and ear out for when it comes for the Denver Broncos. Just rumors that have been floating around. DJ Moore, a potential. Jordan Addison, Vikings. Obviously things aren't going quite well there. He'd probably like out of Minnesota at this point. And the one I probably like the most, Brian Thomas Jr., Jacksonville Jaguars. You line a guy up like him, big body, possession guy. I would love to see what Brian Thomas Jr. Paired up on this roster could do. So just some names that we could maybe float around. We're going to float right over to tight ends.
I have one more real quick. What about
for another day? So
what about Alex Pierce? No one brought that up.
Alec Pierce, I think, is just too much for me. Really quick, and then I'll pass it over to Kenny. Is too much of a mimic of things that we already have on our roster in Marvin Mims and Troy Franklin. You're just hoping for basically better hands. Hopefully Ronald Curry can fix that. Kenny, your thoughts?
For the Broncos, I'm going to pass for the Broncos. He's asking prices $20 million too. You're going to pay $20 million for Alec Pierce. When Keith just said you got that type of player on this roster, I'm gonna pass on on him for that team. But you asked me on a Giants show, I'm taking Alec Pierce.
Michael has one other one that I actually had on my list. I could show it if I needed to. Wide receiver Mike Evans, potentially a 15th year in the league, might not be with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'll go to you on this one, Kenny. Mike Evans is a Denver Bronco for his 15th year in the league. What do you think, Michael Ronquillo, barking up the right tree there?
I like it, Michael. I saw the projected price for him is around 12, 13 million. I like it because that's 6'4", 6'5". Bo Nix, his accuracy. You just throw the ball when you're in the red zone. You talk about a guy, Michael, who's going to have double-digit touchdowns next year for the Broncos, if healthy. Mike Evans is going to easily get 10 touchdowns with Bo Nix throwing him the ball.
I'll go back over to you, Jody. What are your thoughts on Mike Evans?
If is the big question, if he's healthy, yeah, for 1 year, I mean, that's pretty much an all-in move for me. Mm-hmm. I mean, it shows you're going all in if you think he's healthy.
Yeah, I liked, like I said, it was on my list. I was trying to rush through the wide receivers, but so I left the name off. I like the name. It just that veteran presence. It's kind of like, I don't know. It just feels right. It feels like that's the type of guy that you can bring over. Kind of feels like, reminiscent of that Neil Smith move that we end up doing back in the day, bringing along that veteran guy
DeMarcus Ware.
DeMarcus Ware. Great way. Just bring, it's okay to have a little bit of veteran leadership out there. And there's a guy that's going to put it all out on the line. We know it's Mike Evans. He's done it for many years. Peter Johnson saying Alex Pierce is going to want a lot of money. For not much improvement, if we're in that window, we need to go all out and pay big bucks for a big reward. Pay the top wide receiver and pay the top running back. Don't pay big money for a guy that isn't much better than Sutton already. So out on Alec Pierce, says Peter Johnson, but he's all in on going big money. Maybe he's an A.J. Brown or golly, why do I keep always forgetting the other guy? George Pickens, for crying out loud. I cannot keep George Pickens in my mind. Maybe he's a George Pickens guy as well. Peter, love to get your thoughts on who you'd love to spend some ton of money on. Big money on, as you're kind of alluding to there. We'll tackle tight ends really quick as we maybe round out at least the offensive side of this. We'll leave linebackers for another day. I'll go to, I don't know who I went with first. So, Jody, I'm going to go to you again on this one. Tight ends, how you tackling the tight end position? As you know, we were talking about it kind of ad nauseum. Alex Singleton is a question mark. Justin Sternad, kind of a question mark. Dre Greenlaw, kind of a question mark. I think a lot of people are looking to solidify that interior middle linebacker position. It could be by bringing back 1-2 of those guys. It could be bolstered, or the solution could come from free agency trade as well. Which way are you going in order to solve this problem?
For tight end,
I just said middle linebacker, and I just end up. I'm all over the place. Let's go over to tight ends. Tight ends is another one. Sorry, I just went on that ramble as far as linebackers are concerned.
I'm going probably free agency, and I'm big on Kyle Pitts. I guess my only thing is, what does Davis Webb? How does he get Evan? Is Evan Ingram back next year, and can Davis Webb actually get him involved? Because he was healthy at the end of the year. I mean, he put up solid numbers. He could add more touchdowns, but if you're bringing Evan Ingram back, then I don't see him going and getting a number one tight end. It's if Ingram's back, likely for me. If he's not, Kyle Pitts.
All right. Any possibility of both those guys being on the roster for you at the same time?
Pitts and Ingram?
Yeah.
No, because both of them don't block.
Okay, fair enough. Two doubled up for me. Pitts or Ingram.
And I mean, he had four, excluding Ingram, he had four other tight ends that's all they did was block. So, I mean, obviously it's important to Sean Payton.
That is true. Kyle Pitts, that's a surprising one for me. Top of your list. What say you, Kenny Kirkpatrick? How are you solving this problem?
I gotta respectfully disagree with Jody on Kyle Pitts. If Evan Ingram is back, Evan Ingram and Kyle Pitts, who the heck is blocking in your tight end room? That's all I'm gonna say there. But if he's not back, well, maybe I'll bring Kyle Pitts there. Respectfully disagree, Jody, of course. I'm going to attack it. The first way I want to attack it is double dip. I want to draft, if possible. This is the one guy I want to move up for if I need to move up a few spots. Kenyon Sadiq, the tight end out of Oregon, is legit. Colston Loveland, Tyler Warren, we saw what they did in their rookie years last year. This guy, I think, is better. Red zone target, will block, will move the chains. I think this guy can be top 10 tight end in year one as a rookie. And in this offense, we need a tight end. I think this is the route. Move up a few spots. Philadelphia is rumored. Move up ahead of Philadelphia, which isn't too many spots. Now, Philadelphia may try and move up. That's out of the question. But Then I would go double dip, free agent on my New York Giants, Daniel Bellinger. Poor man's tight end, came in the league a few years ago, second-round pick out of San Diego State. He'll get you 30 to 40 receptions a year, 400-ish yards, be your backup tight end, will be a red zone target, will move the chains if you need it, will block, will do the dirty work. And if I'm flipping it and I'm doing free agent first, Keith, Dallas Goedert, I saw Michael. I like Dallas Goedert, touchdown machine. I think he had 10 or 11 touchdowns last year in Philadelphia, knows how to win in that Eagles team. He's a winner. And then some names in the draft I'll have you look out for. Max Clary from Ohio State, Justin Jolly from NC State. Two names to watch in the draft, in the combine next week for the draft.
And names to watch out for in the posse, like you said, Michael Ronquillo coming in. He's like in tight end Dallas Goedert, and Peter Johnson says tight end in the draft for me is Max Clary, is the guy I'm looking at. So appreciate everyone kind of chiming in on that. Got Patrick chiming in saying aloha boys, sorry for the lateness, joining, busy making the coffee. That's Lion Coffee, most amazing coffee on the planet Earth. I know because I drink a ton of coffee, and it's the best. I've ruled it as such. LionCoffee.com, check it out, and Patrick will be shipping out your package before you know it. Troutman was a bad enough blocker as it was. No thanks on Pitts, says Peter Johnson, and Kyle Pitts could get the franchise tag, says Michael Ronquillo from the Atlanta Falcons.
Oh, and one more name from Michael, Eli Stowers, Vanderbilt tight end. Yes, good name, Michael, to call out there for the combine. Another tight end to watch, guys. Mark that down on your sheet, Keith.
I will mark it down on my sheet, man, because I tell you what, I started off the top of the show this way. Michael Ronquillo, I was excited for his knowledge base because this is what this guy does, man. Michael, thank you so much, man, for being a part of the posse, coming in here, having great questions, dropping 1,000 stars this evening, and coming in and giving us names and knowledge like you always do. Appreciate you, my friend. A couple of the names I think it just bears mentioning. My favorite name to go out there, Isaiah Likely. I know that he's not going to be that guy that's going to be a blocking tight end for you, but I think what he has, the ability he has, what could possibly be unlocked from an Isaiah Likely is another level of tight end possibilities there. I think that's I think that's my number one target. I would go after in free agency. David Njoku is also out there, potential name. Tyler Higbee, Zach Ertz. I want to get your thoughts on this, though, Jody. As a potential trade with the Detroit Lions, TJ Hawkinson.
Pass.
He's a big old pass there. Wow. Why the quick pass on there? What's your thoughts and thinking there?
The same reason that I said pass in the running back is there's enough big name guys out there you don't have to give assets up for, and you have money now to spend, so it's not try to find bargains and stuff. You don't need to do that this year.
This is the one thing I would say, and at some point, I think you need to think about this even when it comes to trading for players. You're talking about being one of the lowest draft picks in every single round. So
right.
This year, giving up a first-round draft pick doesn't mean as much as last year giving up a first-round draft pick or the year before that because of how well you did. So if there is a year that I'm okay with kind of F them picks and going out there and trading, then this is the year because, you're, in my opinion, not giving up the capital that you've given up in the past. Plus, it's time to go. It's time to go. Kenny, would you put a circle around TJ Hawkinson as far as a potential to come to the Denver Broncos?
I like TJ Hawkinson, and I know you said it off the top of your head. The Lions just want to tell you he's on the Vikings. I know you know that. I know you know that.
Gracious.
I know you know that. But just for those who don't, just throw that out there, make it official. Vikings. I would do it. I would do it if the price is right. You're not going to get. Not going to demand the first round pick for TJ Hawkinson, but like you just said, the picks are going to be in the bottom of the rounds, 3rd or 4th round pick, TJ Hawkinson. If he fits what I'm wanting on the Broncos offense, I'm going to trust Sean Payton and what he would want. So I would welcome that for sure.
Like it. Well, gentlemen, like
I
I
have
said,
some guys, a few guys, just quick rapid fire.
yeah, by all
You
means.
beat me to the
We'll
punch. I was going to have one guy.
Foofda. Go ahead, gentlemen.
If let's just say we keep 3 guys on here, are we in agreement Ingram's back next year?
Flip a coin, I would say. I'm probably good either way. I think there's potential to get better without him as well. But for the conversation, I can say yes.
I'm going to say he's back next year.
I think he's back next year too. Troutman, back or no?
Gone.
See ya.
Nate Atkins.
Okay, we'll keep Nate Atkins. I don't know.
I'm the same way with Nate Atkins.
Yeah.
I bring him in on a cheap contract to compete for a job. His job's not definite. No guarantees.
And then one guy no one talks about, what do you do with Caleb Lohner?
I think that is your development piece. I was just talking about how excited I was to see like an Isaiah Likely and what could possibly be unlocked. I think there still could be some development and some possibility in Caleb Lohner. He's that guy that, in my opinion, kind of is that Evan Ingram. I'm not going to expect him to be a big blocker, and I said I was kind of iffy as far as that's concerned. You need a blocker, so you need to bring back Nate Atkins, and you need to add to this room. So that's kind of my math on the tight end position. So I think that Caleb Lohner gets another year to kind of develop.
I agree with Keith. I agree. I got 2 quick ones for you, Keith and Jody.
By all means.
Cole Kmet.
Jody, I'll let you go first, man.
Well, I'm probably biased because I liked him when he played at Notre Dame, and I thought he was decent in Chicago. But he's still probably like a number 2 or 3 tight end. I mean, I want a bigger name splash.
Okay. And I do have a bigger name after Keith goes with Cole Kmet.
I'm probably in the same, exact same boat. I liked Cole Kmet coming out, but I don't know if he's proven himself to be a big enough improvement for this roster to go out there and in target, I guess you could say. Peter Johnson, by the way, is saying Lohner's just a practice squad guy again. So
my big name splash, and it's realistic. I don't know if it's going to be realistic for the Broncos, but Trey McBride. Cardinals loaded quarterback class next year, may want to get multiple draft picks next year to try and secure one of these stud quarterback prospects that are coming up next year. Trey McBride. And I would throw in, here's the deal I would throw in. Maybe next year's number 1, which is going to be late in the first round, and a player, maybe a Jonah Ellis or even a little higher, like a Jonathan Cooper, because I do have a wild card that the Broncos can sign. Why wild cards? We're running out of time. Bradley Chubb.
I would like Trey McBride. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not giving up a first this year or next year. It would have to be a later round pick than that. As great as he was, and as great as the ties are to Colorado, can't overpay for Trey McBride.
But you just said F them picks.
Well, Peter's saying McBride just signed, so yeah, it is a long shot. But maybe move on from Harrison might be the more easier guy to move.
Yep.
When you guys look at tight ends, because I've seen guys in the chat say it, how important is a blocking tight end to you, or do you not really care about that and you want to Jimmy Graham that goes and catches the football?
Yes, exactly.
That's where I'm at. I've seen enough of Adam Troutman that I don't need that.
I'll take my chances. That's what we have a third down back for. That's
same.
It's
Nate
open
Atkins.
up this offense, man.
Yep.
Well, gentlemen,
Those were the guys I had. But Bradley
I
Chubb, wild card.
Bradley Chubb wild card. Real wild card. Could you imagine Javante Williams or Jerry Jeudy coming back to the Denver Broncos? Those are a couple names out there
Yeah.
as far as free agency or trade as potential. Um, there's some wild cards for you. I want to get some wild final thoughts, I guess. Jody, the judge, Moncrief, thanks for helping fix the Broncos tonight. Final thoughts from you, my friend.
I think this was at the start of the week, but 52 days till Bo Nix gets to lift the trophy again or have a chance at it. So it's you've finally got Russ off the books. You've got money to spend. Your defense is pretty much in place. I mean, you're going to find a middle linebacker. I don't think Franklin's back, but you've replaced him with Roach already. You've paid Roach, so your defense is ready to go. Get Bo Nix weapons before you're paying. Because even if he has another likewise season or like he did last year, you're paying him $50-60 million, and you see what that does to teams. So go get players now, and now's the time to do it. So this is what we all wanted rich owners for, and they can spend it and maneuver this cap in the right way. And I'm fine. I'm excited now because the rest thing's off the books, and we don't have to hear about that anymore. So get him help.
They'll find a way to still keep talking about Russ. You know it. No, you're absolutely right, man. Great conversation this evening, and hopefully we figured out some ways to fix the Broncos. Appreciate your efforts in all of this, man. Kenny Kirkpatrick, we didn't talk about the juice, but not much. We talked a little bit at the very beginning. I do want you to talk about Sunday though before you get out of here in
Sure.
your closing statements.
Sure. First of all, thanks guys for having me on tonight. Always love coming on with Keith, Jody, Trevor. Miss you tonight, but speaking of Trevor, get to that in a second. We got the draft combine next week, but also keep an eye out the next few days. A couple days left for teams to release their players, and you're going to see some big names released in the next few days, in my opinion. So keep an eye out for that. And I think this A.J. Brown thing could become realistic with some players that may get released in the defensive side, corner replacements there or backups for the Broncos. But Sunday night, leading into the draft, every Sunday evening, myself and Trevor, Rocketman Salzman, might see Keith, might see Jody on occasion. You guys have followed us for the last couple of years. We have the Pickers in Draft show, 3 days of draft day coverage. Trevor and I are introducing starting Sunday. The Pick is in Mock Draft Sundays. If you like the draft, come hang out with us. We're going to have unique twists on it each and every week. We're going to have a different style mock draft. It's going to be a lot of fun. Give us your picks. We'll announce them on the air. Heck, I might steal it from you guys and give you guys all the credit. Hang out with us. We'll make it, like how we always do, contest game. We'll have fun. Hang out with us for the hour, and we'll do the mock draft Sundays. The Pick is in Mock Draft Sundays, 8 p.m. Mountain Time, 3 p.m. Hawaii time for Mr. Patrick Wilson.
Doing the Hawaii math, man. We've taken care of the posse members no matter where they're at on the globe. Appreciate it, Kenny, and looking forward to that, man. Mock Draft Sundays, the Pick is in Mock Draft show every Sunday, 8 p.m. here on the Rocky Mountain Sports Network. We got the Denver Bronco Roundup that we're doing every Wednesday, every Saturday. We have the Juice every Tuesday. All of these, 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify. Gentlemen, again, fantastic show. To all the posse members, man, appreciate you a ton coming in here, rocking with us. Again, a big happy birthday to Pearl. Appreciate you being an amazing sponsor. And again, hope you had a fantastic day. Saw her rocking a Bo Nix jersey a little bit earlier as she sent me a message, and that was good to see, man. Good to see Broncos fans, young and old, all the way across the globe. You guys are all amazing. We appreciate you being part of what we do every single week, every single episode, every single day that we go out here and talk Broncos, football, NFL, or even college mock drafts. I can't wait for those as well, like I said. But we got to get out of here the way we always do. Boots in the stirrups, guns in the holsters, and Denver Broncos in your heart. Till next episode, we're out here. Mile high salute, everybody. Thank you.